Hey guys, Dr. Callahan here. It is Thursday of week 1, so we're going to start off today with 3 different warm-up questions. Number 1, what motivates you to keep trying harder and work more productively in life and not give up? For me, it is my family and also my kiddos, and I have 4 of them. For number 2, how many boxes are there for the warm-up blog for the entire packet? Keep in mind your warm-up blog is due on weeknight Friday. You guys have 3 questions a day, Monday through Friday, for 5 days a week. So if you take 3 times 9 times 5, you should have 135 boxes by week 9 Friday. What is the breakdown of 300 points? Please list them. So for you guys, the breakdown of 300 points is that for the warm-up blog, there should be 100 boxes done by week 9 Friday. Participation accounts for not being tardy or absent. You can't participate if you're physically not there, just like I'm not there right now, but I am kind of participating with this video, but I will see you guys next Friday. Preparation, essentially, are you prepared for class? No cell phones, headphones, electronic away. You have your warm-up blog out, ready to go. Okay, when I saw you guys last time, we had the following. We went ahead and reviewed the sum of the cubes worksheet. You should have completed those questions. And then we also did like a poster rotation of several questions as well. So you should have those completed. This is a breakdown of today. My first one that I have here is a video of what is calculus. Review of pre-calculus concept in your guided notes for week 1 Thursday. You can show that on a separate piece of paper. I will not be assigning TI-84 calculators out this year. However, you guys are welcome to use Desmos, which is a great resource. You are going to have to log on to Math Excel this year to access your homework assignment for this class. And when I get there, you guys will definitely have that availability. And if you guys can take a look over here, let me do a new share so you guys can see this of what I'm seeing. All right, so this is how you're gonna log on to Math Excel. Emma, calm down. Sorry, that was my little 1-year-old. She's over here with me while I'm trying to do this. And what you would need to do is, excuse me, you need to go to the school desktop, and you need to go to Washoe County School District website, click on the student and parent, make sure you guys go to Envision Math, okay? Once you're there, you will automatically signing into your login, which is gonna be your student ID number. Now you have access to online classes. I don't need to add you guys to it, you're automatically assigned. And if you're in calculus, remember we're going to start off with limits, and then we're going to start with derivatives and application of derivatives. So 2, 3, and 4, those are our 3 different topics that we will be talking about for the first semester of calculus. And then for the second semester of calculus, we're going to go over 3 units, which is going to start off with number 5, and that's integration, applications of integration, and then different integration techniques. And that's basically how you're going to sign on to Math Excel. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Here we go. Okay, so then I have a breakdown of explanation for your grades. And let me make sure I am sharing that. All right, so here's a breakdown of your grades for this class. Your practicing Math Excel is going to be worth 25%. Your final exam in December is 15%. If you basically show up to class and do the activities in class on a regular basis, that's 35%. Outboard IO, which I gave you guys the information last class, is going to be worth 5%. And your practicing standards is going to be 15%. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to this. Meeting standards, this is gonna be your quizzes on Wednesdays and your tests, that's 35%. This most likely will just be on your AP College Board login. I will assign the exam for you guys there and you'll access it that way. And then your participation, preparation, warm-up log is gonna be 5%. So if you need a little bit more information, this is kind of the breakdown of what entails for practicing standards, what it entails for meeting standards exam, practicing standards, Math Excel. Your Math Excel is due on Sunday every single week. If there is a 3-day weekend, the assignment will be assigned on Tuesday. You will have until Sunday to complete that assignment. This is an example of somebody's from previous year. Excuse me. I do corrections for quizzes and exam. There is a template right here at this link that you can do. If you're ever absent, like I am right now, in order to complete this, you just go to your guided notes. You could pick any 10 questions to complete and then turn that in. You just need to show it to me. And that's basically the breakdown of your grades. So let's go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint. All right, so we've done that. I do have a link for a quizzes factoring of cubes right here, and then also a quizzes of trigonometry review. Make sure you guys go to this link where it says calculus students response. I do need to have your email address. And let me share this with you guys. If you guys click on that link right here, and it's right here as well, keep in mind you do need to have a capital T, capital L, capital A, or K, capital A, capital E, lowercase r. You have your name right here and your grades and your gender. And I just need to have you guys give me your email so that way I know who or how I can get a hold of you. And I can see that, David, you're awesome. You already did yours, so woohoo for you. Definitely get some extra bonus points for following directions, David. All right, so now I'm gonna go back to my video, or excuse me, my, yeah, there we go. All right, let's move on forward. So take a look at your guided notes for week 1 Thursday. Can't do that because I'm not there, and also you can't do this with social distancing. So the syllabus that I have is on the website for, remember, if you just Google Dr. Callahan, you'll be able to find that. And if you can answer these questions as it pertains to it. Then today we're going to continue on with factoring, and then also a little bit of like adding, subtracting, dividing, rational equations, and then also factoring cubes. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I am going to get started with today's stuff. All right, so what is calculus? I have a little link right here. You can watch the video. Normally I play in class, but you know, today with this going on, this is just not quite what I need. All you really need for the supplies in class is you need to have a TI-84. If you don't have that, you can use Desmos. You need to have your guided notes. I will give you guys your guided notes once every 2 weeks. So right now you have week 1 and week 2, and then I'll give you guys week 3 and week 4. Some questions you might want to ask yourself as to why you're taking this class. I know when I took AP Calculus back in high school, I did it so I can get college credits. And also it's a more challenging class, and I always love math because it's kind of like a big puzzle. And so those were kind of nerdy answers, but that's why I took calculus. So my big question for you is, how will this class fit into your other obligations, whether it's work, sports, other extracurricular activities at home? For me, I really wanted to take calculus because I always love math, and also it's a very hard and difficult class, and I always enjoy challenging myself. These are some of the questions I asked my former AP Calculus students. And you could take maybe like a moment to pause it and then do like a brief little reflection and ask yourself that. These are some of the examples that my students said. One of the big ones I want to make sure I go over is I make sure I understand why I was doing something instead of just memorizing the steps, because in calculus, you can't do that. It's not like solving multi-step equations back in Algebra 1 where you just kind of memorize how to solve the equations. In calculus, you really need to understand why you're doing it, because every question is very different on the AP exam, and every question does dive into that higher level learning. So if you simply just memorize something, it would not work out for this class. You really, really need to know why you're doing it. These are some of the responses from my kids in previous years as to why they passed the exam or why they didn't. Last year, I had 3 kids that received a 5, which is the highest score that you can receive. If they can do it all over again, what would they do? What would they change? Excuse me. Okay, that was my little girl. She's like pushing buttons now. Stop it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the examples right here. You need to stop. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this one right here. It says factor the trinomial 3x squared minus x minus 4. This should be a quick review from Honors Algebra 2 or maybe even part of Algebra 1. So looking at this part right here, you need to make sure you know how to factor this, but because before we get started with calculus, this is something that you need to know ahead of time. All right, you do notice there's a coefficient of a 3, so I like to do kind of like the crisscross box method. So everything here that multiply together have to equals a 3x squared. So I'm going to do 3x and x. Next, what you need to do is focus on the last number, which is a 4 or a negative 4. So what times what gives me a negative 4? So I'm going to try negative 2 and positive 2. There we go. Next, what you have to do is you have to crisscross them. So when I add those two together, that product have to be the middle number, which is a negative 1. Whoa, hold on. Go back. There we go. A negative 1. So 3 and 2 gives me a 6x. That gives me a negative 2x. And it doesn't work. It gives me a positive 4x, which is not the negative 1. So you're going to have to go back and kind of change it up a little bit. So let's maybe try like a 4 here and a negative 1 here. Let's go ahead and crisscross that. So attempt 2. I'm going to get a negative 3x and a positive 4x, which is going to give me a positive 1x. So I'm coming a little bit closer to that. The number is right, but the sign's incorrect. So that means I don't want to change the position of my numbers here. What I want to do is I want to change the signs. So let's make that into a positive and this into a negative. Now, attempt number 3. Let's go ahead and crisscross them. I have a 3x minus 4x, and ta-da, I do indeed have a 1 or negative 1x, so that makes me very happy. So then I'm sure you're like, what is your answer, Callahan? So we did all that work. My first answer, you just go horizontally, is going to be 3x minus 4. And my second answer horizontally is x plus 1. If you don't believe me, you could go ahead and FOIL this. And if FOIL this, first is going to give me a 3x squared. Outer is going to give me a 3x. Inner is going to give me a negative 4x. And last is going to give me a negative 4. Now remember, when you're doing FOIL, you got to combine the middle, the outer and the inner. So I have 3x squared minus 1x minus 4. So, there we go. So it is correct, and that's how you will factor that. Okay, let's take a look at this question right here. You have to be able to factor out cubes as well. So you have 2 different equations. I'm probably using this one because it has a plus in between right there. So I want to rewrite this in terms of cubes. Okay, so I have 3x squared, and I can cube it. If I go ahead and cube this, it is essentially going to give me 27x to the 6th power plus 5 cubed. So then I can just say that my a is going to be 3x squared and my b is going to be 5. So then when I go ahead and fill out the remaining part of this formula, I am going to have, I'm going to put equal a plus b, which is 3x squared plus 5, times a squared. A squared is going to be 3x squared squared, so that's 9x to the 4th power, minus a times b, so 5 times 3x squared is 15x squared, plus b squared, so 5 times 5 is 25. And that is my answer. That's how I will factor that cube, factorization. You guys can go ahead and try this one on your own. Here's the answer if you need it, right there. You can pause it. Same thing with x cubed plus 64y cubed. Give it a try, and then your answer is right here. All right, let's go on to the next part. Looking at this one right here, you were going to be multiplying, dividing rationals. It's also a review from Algebra 2 Honors. So first thing to notice is that with the 5x plus 5, I can factor out a 5. So if I take out a 5, I have x plus 1. Second part, which is the numerator right here, I'm going to have to factor that out. So I ask myself, I'm going to put x and x because that gives me x squared. So what times what gives me a positive 4, but the same two numbers when I add it together gives me a negative 4 in the middle? It would obviously have to be a negative 2 and a negative 2. Then factor down the denominator on the right side. X squared minus 1 is going to be a x plus 1, x minus 1, because it's a special factorization, just like x squared minus 4. Now here's the fun part. Because this is a multiplication, I want to cancel everything. Excuse me. I have x plus 1 on top, x plus 1 on the bottom. So boom, they're gone. And x minus 2 on top, x minus 2 on the bottom. Boom, they're gone. So then what do I have left as my answer? I have a 5 times x minus 2. And then I have an x minus 1. So my answer essentially can be 5x minus 10 over x minus 1. And that is your answer. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into something that has division. Looking at this part right here, I know I can go ahead and factor out the 4, and I have x minus 2. Here, I can go ahead and factor that out as a special factorization because 2 times negative 2 is a negative 4, but 2 minus 2 gives me a 0. And notice with this one, because you have a division, we're going to go back to elementary school in 3rd grade. We're going to multiply that, but then I'm going to have to flip the reciprocal. So x plus 2, x minus 2 is in the numerator, and then x minus 2 is in the denominator. Now's the fun part. X minus 2 in the bottom cancels, x plus 2 cancels, and I'm left with 4 times x minus 2. So my finalized answer is 4x minus 8. Okay, next thing that you need to know is you have to be able to graph a line. Remembering this back in, I don't know, Algebra 1, I guess, or 8th grade math. So let's go ahead and take a look at this part right here. So you have y equals 2x plus 3. You always start off with a y-intercept. So 1, 2, 3, right there. That's your first point. Then you look at your slope. Your slope is a 2 over 1. So you can go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And here is my first line. And I also want to label it so that way I can identify which line it is. Then with my second one, I start off with a positive 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have my, sorry if you hear my little girl grunting, I think she's pooing right now, but that's okay. My slope is a negative 3 over 1. So 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1. And ta-da, oh, my line's a little bit off, but that's okay. This is y equals negative 3x plus 5. My point of intersection is where the two line crisscrosses, which is right there. It's going to be a little bit off, but that's okay. It looks like it's at a 1/2, 1, 2, 3, 3 and 1/2. All right, I have a few things over here that you guys can review. Quizzes on factoring cubes. That's something that's important. Quizzes on trigonometry review. Trigonometry and pre-calculus formula sheet review, and your trick sheets. And I think essentially that is it for today. And it is. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and email me in callahan@washoeschools.net. Thank you so much for being here with me, you guys, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Take care and stay safe.